Hello, my dear friends. So I am going to walk you through all of the skincare products in the skincare line. I'll probably touch on some of the adjustable beauty products too, so the supplements that are part of Cole as well. It's just been top of mind for me as to like why I created them, how they can actually positively influence your skin health. So if you have issues with like dryness, acne, aging, hyperpigmentation, acne scarring, all that type of stuff. And it'll also kind of tie into a bit of like an entrepreneurial journey with all of this and like where I started, where I came from, and where I am today, and where I plan on going in the future. Maybe I'll talk about that a little bit. So anyways, so I first started out with the topical skincare stuff back in the summer of 2020. And I started out with a body oil at first. I really wanted to make a body oil. And I think the main reason why I didn't venture into anything else than a body oil, especially at the time, was just because at the time I had developed relationships and friendships with certain people that were in the skincare industry that the last thing I wanted to do was step on their toes. And I just realized that, one thing that I really wish that they would make was a body oil. And at the time, this person had zero intention of creating a body oil. It actually, because I had asked this person if they would make one, and it was never on this person's radar. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll make one. Like, I'll make one for myself. And of course, I like sharing things that I like with other people. So yeah, I'll pop it up on the shop and we'll just see how it goes. So that's kind of where I started with everything. Inevitably in business, I just think like you're always going to step on people's toes. So maybe that's for another conversation. But anyways, so I started out with the body oil. Body oil was great. It sold really well. Things were going really well with it. I enjoyed it. My clients enjoyed it. People who were purchasing from the shop were enjoying it, all that type of stuff. I think I got to the point with the body oil, however, that I started to learn more, I guess, about skincare and just kind of realized that the ingredients that I had chosen were not something I was excited about as much anymore. So I wanted to change it. So that's why I had eventually taken down the body oil. And around that time, so once I had sold out of all those units, then around that time I was also playing around with my branding and all that type of stuff. And then that's when the hyaluronic acid face oil had come out. So the very first version of it, which I don't know if you guys can remember what the label looks like, but it was cute. I think it's better now. I'll probably change it in like a year or two from now just because it'll be like, I like this look better. The hyaluronic acid face oil came from me starting to understand a little bit more about topical applications of oils and what exactly it is that is relevant or useful. And at the time I was still holding or being consistent with my acne coaching program. So I had a lot of people going through it who had active acne, in some circumstances pretty severe. So that was my primary focus of, how do I make a face oil, or, how can I help people that have acne prone skin, and what is it that isn't on the market yet? Because yes, there are a lot of skincare products out there. What is it that I can create that hasn't been made yet? And so that's where I started to learn more about linoleic acid. So linoleic acid is an omega-6 fatty acid. Probably the best known form of linoleic acid is GLA, so gamma linoleic acid. And the reason why it's so popular is because it actually helps to reduce inflammation in the skin. When applied topically, but also when taken internally, it can help reduce what's called chronic low-grade inflammation in the skin. So from the standpoint of helping with acne, but also from a whole aspect called inflammaging, so inflammatory processes that contribute to advanced aging of the skin. So that's why I created the high linoleic acid face oil, because it was a face oil that incorporated oils that were higher in ratio of this linoleic acid. Not necessarily, well, there is GLA in it, but I didn't choose high GLA ingredients like evening primrose oil or borage seed oil, for example, in the topical face oil, only because of the fact I wanted to make it as non-comedogenic as possible. And unfortunately, evening primrose oil, borage seed oil are not the most friendly for topical application on acne prone skin types. So I was being like very cognizant of the types of oils that I was choosing, why I was choosing them, what have you. Anyways, so that took me a very long time to create that formula. And yeah, if you know me or knew me personally at the time, that's literally all I did was I just researched oils for hours and hours and hours and hours on, like obscene amount of hours on end, just to like try to figure it out and make the best oil that I possibly could, and something that hadn't been made before, right? That was really important to me. I needed to make something that wasn't on the market yet, that I wasn't like mimicking someone else's formula, because people be sensitive these days. So you have to just be really careful about what it is exactly that you're using, which on some level I do understand. But okay, so there's that. I created the hyaluronic acid face oil. Wasn't really like too sure where I was going to go from there. I continued to experiment over time with different things. I'm not going to talk about the supplements actually, because if I do, this is going to be like a 40-minute video. Maybe I'll talk about the supplements another time, because the supplements are a whole other story with Health Canada, NPN numbers, the pandemic, money, a lot of different things, and the reasonings behind why I'd created them. Which the one that I recently launched, by the way, is like so near and dear to my heart. I'm so happy just to see it back up on the shop again and in the format that it's in. I'll save that conversation for another day. So fast forward, doing a bunch of research, learning a bunch of stuff. I had met along the way a cosmetic scientist, and I appreciate what I had learned from our conversations. I found it very inspiring. It definitely like unlocked doors of being more open to a different world of cosmetic formulating or skincare formulating that perhaps I wasn't like too as aware of at the time. So what I mean by this is being more exposed to other cosmetic companies, like where I source some of my ingredients from. Where I get peptides from, and some of the lamellar ingredients to create the lamellar creams, that type of stuff that I never would have known about had it been for this person. So I'm very grateful because it definitely opened up a whole other possibility of things that are out there in the world that I could potentially use in my products. So that unlocked a big piece of the puzzle for me. I had also started taking some courses with an online skin school, if you will, like formulating school called Formula Botanica. So I'd taken 2 of their courses. I actually didn't finish the advanced one because I went on to continue to learn more about other things I should probably just go back and do it just to like say that I went through it, I suppose. But that kind of led me down the path of using emulsifiers and creating creams and all that type of stuff, which is super exciting as a formulator to like understand how to make a face cream. Like, how cool is that, right? Like that was really exciting for me. I did start diving more into, because I get really obsessive about this stuff, right? I want it to be the best. And so I started diving more into the whole world of emulsifiers, learning more about them, and stumbling across different types of like skincare lines that existed that perhaps were more popular in places like Germany or Denmark or places like that. So I did eventually discover something called corneotherapy, which wasn't my own personal discovery, by the way. I actually learned more about it from a skin therapist who had mentioned it on their website, and I was like, oh, what's corneotherapy? And then the more I started reading into it, the more I was like, so that's naturopathic medicine for topical application. Okay, I can get on board with that. It's like root cause work topically, which, me being a naturopathic doctor, of course, or functional medicine practitioner, it's that whole world. I take an interest to that type of stuff, and yeah, just the more that I was like learning and researching and understanding this stuff, started taking some more courses through the corneotherapy sites that I had been introduced to and learning from. And that really influenced the ingredients, that I decided to use in the rest of the skincare line. I was also playing around with different things, like just experimenting. Like I've always been really fascinated with oleo gels, and I can't even tell you like when I first discovered them. I don't even know how I figured out what oleo gels were. But oleo gels are fascinating because it basically uses a gentle surfactant. So in this circumstance, it's sucrose laurate is the surfactant that I ended up using in the Omega Cleansing Balm. That it's just being mindful of like what types of ingredients are we using for what reason and what's the purpose of them, and are they causing any harm to the skin? So are they enhancing what needs to be enhanced, or are they causing issues? A lot of surfactants on the market are usually causing issues. Same with emulsifiers on the market. Most of them are causing issues long-term wise. Sometimes there's a washout effect though, of course, where people may not necessarily see that these things are causing problems. But for me, as someone who does have really sensitive skin, it wasn't, I just will say that looking back, like I do notice that I was negatively impacted by these things without even understanding why or what was going on, until knowing what I know now and using the products that I use now, and be like, wow, what a difference. So, the Omega Cleansing Balm thing, I think that kind of started out just because it was cool, right? Like, how cool is it that I can gel in oil? And like the fun features of it, where it's like as soon as you add water to that oil, it turns into like this milky fluid, and it's so cool. There's not many things on the market like that. That's really exciting. Okay, so let's work with that. Let's go with it. So that's where I started to learn a little bit. That's where it tied into corneotherapy, is like using gentle surfactants that are actually going to dissolve the oil in the water, so that when you're using an oil-based cleanser, because I know a lot of acne-prone people have issues with oil-based cleansers or oil cleansing method, that you're using a product that has an ingredient in it that once water is applied, you're actually going to be effectively removing those things off your skin. And I have a really big issue with cleansers that do not remove makeup. Just don't like it. So oil cleansing method is great at removing makeup, but what makes it even better is if it's an oleo gel. So I also figured that out too, that, I really prefer a cleanser that removes makeup. Also doesn't strip my skin. I find most cleansers out there, that's why I actually stopped using cleansers for the longest time, and I was just doing oil cleansing method, but I did notice I was having some like pore clogging issues. So that's where the oleo gel really took care of that, because it was like a new age hybridized best of both worlds way to effectively cleanse my skin that is more on the acne prone side, like blackheads, breaking out fairly regularly, depending on like how stressed out I am, and a whole bunch of other factors that maybe in another video I'll discuss about, main things that I think are important for people who have acne prone skin to pay attention to. So that's that whole thing. And then naturally it's like, okay, if I'm going to do one thing, then I might as well just do the rest. So created the Omega Cleansing Balm. That was fairly easy. I just wanted to create a cleanser that had an omega complex in it, because all of the omegas are great for topical skin application, but they're not great to keep on the skin for a long period of time, like a face oil, for example, especially if you have acne prone skin. So that's why I chose to put these amazing oils like chia seed oil, for example, that's higher in omega-3 fatty acids, great for your skin, even when applied topically, but best if it's in cleansing balm, so that you could actually use it as a face mask if you wanted to, keep it on for like 20 minutes and then remove it, right? So it's not sitting on your skin for a long period of time, but you're still going to get benefits from it. So that's why the Omega Cleansing Balm is the way that it is. It does also have lactic acid in it as well, which It's a super gentle, direct acid, helps keep the cleanser a pH balance, which is really important when it comes to optimizing skin health and corneotherapy related stuff, skin barrier health, skin microbiome, all that type of stuff. And also too, just keeping it's a direct acid that can help with gentle exfoliation, so chemical exfoliation of the skin. So that's another reason why I put it in there, just so that if in the event you wanted to use it as a face mask, which I do a couple days a week, I just put it on my skin, let it sit there for like 20 minutes, and then I'll remove it, like finish the rest of the cleanse. So that's the reason why the lactic acid is in there. The honey is an added little fun bonus too. It's Canadian honey. Boreal wildflower honey to be exact. It's actually purity tested at the University of Guelph, which is really cool too, because I'm a Guelph alumni. So yeah, the honey in there is a nice aspect too. Honey has great healing properties. Although it was one of those things where I'm like, I want to use it in my skincare line, but I'm not sure how comfortable I am putting it in a cream where it's going to stay on your skin for an extended period of time. I want it in something that it could be treated like a mask. That's why I said the cleansing balm. So that's a cleansing balm. Next, into the barrier protection essence. This was a fun project to create. So I created the essence primarily because the second step in your skin regimen should be something that's going to optimize the pH balance of your skin. Because, excuse me, sorry, water is pH neutral, right? The natural pH of your skin is not. So even though we're not like splashing water on our face to remove the cleansing balm, I still wanted something that was going to help kind of like rebalance any possibility of disbalancing, if that's even a word, it's not, the pH of our skin. So that's why the barrier protection essence came into existence. Its primary focus was to help rebalance the pH of the skin post-cleanse. But of course, why just make an essence or a pH balancer? Like, let's add a couple extra things into there just to kind of amplify the effects that you're getting, so synergy, without being overly complicated. So I started, because of some of these cosmetic companies that I had been exposed to and seeing some of the ingredients that they were using and the research that was done on these ingredients, black spruce is pretty freaking cool. Picea mariana. Picea mariana extract, I've seen it in a couple different face creams before, but it's a great antioxidant. It's also really good at combating the negative effects of UV sun exposure, as well as digital pollution. So I actually sourced a black spruce hydrosol from a company in Quebec. So it's actually made here in Canada. And then the neroli hydrosol as well, because neroli is just, it's so nice. It smells wonderful too. And yeah, so that's why I added it in. Great pH balancer as well. It's fairly stable too, which I wanted stable things in the products because I wanted to be as mindful as I possibly could be with the preservatives that I was using. You need preservatives in your skincare products. It's very important. But also try to use ingredients that already self-preserve, right? Like, that's kind of nice. So black spruce hydrosol, neroli hydrosol. And then I added in some things that helped enhance that digital pollution, or like combating the negative effects of digital pollution, UVB sun exposure or UVB exposure from screens, all that type of stuff. So that's why I put in astaxanthin. So the astaxanthin is actually from red algae extract. So Hematococcus pluvialis is what that is on the ingredient list. There's beta glucan in there, which is really good for helping to repair what's called the dermal epidermal junction, as well as just skin barrier repair stuff in general. So maintaining skin hydration without making it feel like sticky or oily. There's also Saccharomyces ferment in there, and good probiotics in your skincare is a really big deal. I happen to love Saccharomyces in like oral probiotics, so just to be able to find it for a topical application was very exciting for me, coming from my world of understanding of supplements that I have as a naturopathic doctor. So Saccharomyces ferment actually helps improve cellular respiration. So that's kind of going from like the standpoint of mitochondrial health, which is kind of like anti-aging type medicine, but topical application of that, right? So pretty freaking cool. What else did I put in that product? I think those are the main ones that I want to discuss. yeah, those are the main ones I want to discuss on that one. If I forgot anything, then maybe I'll make another video specifically about the essence. And then the last was the cream, and the face cream was just so exciting to me because, like I said earlier, like just to have the ability as a formulator to create a face cream is like such a novelty. So freaking cool. So I actually chose to create a face cream that was a lamellar emulsification. And a lamellar emulsification is different from a typical face cream because you're not using conventional emulsifiers. So instead what you're doing is you're using ingredients that are going to take the oils in the product and basically turn it into like basically mimicking what your skin barrier already looks like with like the phospholipids and what have you. So the emulsifier that I used has lecithin, glycerol bihene, and bihenyl alcohol. And so in the emulsification, it just creates this beautiful, like velvety, soft cream, and it's very luxurious. Like it's a gorgeous, gorgeous product. It is a little finicky to work with. I'm still like learning the ropes on like how to perfect the use of it, especially when I'm starting to having to make larger batches. But so far so good with it. So that's the emulsifier, if you will. It's a lamellar base cream. Then I decided to add in resveratrol. Resveratrol has some really interesting research on it. So the resveratrol in particular that I used in the face cream is from Japanese knotweed. And it is an extract, so it's an extract from Japanese knotweed. And resveratrol is really great at helping to balance out the skin microbiome. It helps to combat any negative effects of UV sun damage and environmental pollution exposure. It also has what's called anti-tyrosinase activity, so it helps to even out skin tone. So if you have any like acne scarring or hyperpigmentation, resveratrol is great for that. There's also some really interesting research on resveratrol for helping to minimize the frequency and severity of acne breakouts. So that is why the resveratrol is in the face cream. I personally noticed a huge freaking difference using that face cream, and especially when it's enhanced with the resveratrol, like the tone and texture and the appearance of my skin overall. I don't wear makeup aside from a little bit of cream blush on my skin. The look of my skin has significantly improved. I've noticed a big difference with that. Also, then there's a peptide in it. Freaking love peptides. The research on peptides is kind of up and coming. There's some really cool research that's out there right now. I decided in the face cream to use a specific peptide from a cosmetics company based out of France. And this peptide is caprol tetrapeptide 1. I really hope I didn't mess that up. Anyways, this particular peptide is really great at helping to improve the health of the dermal epidermal junction. Again, something that I mentioned earlier with one of the things that I was talking about, the beta-glucan, which, by the way, the beta-glucan in the barrier protection essence is from reishi mushroom. Side note there. So this particular peptide that's in the face cream helps to improve the integrity of the dermal epidermal junction. DEJ for short, okay? So DEJ, as we age, becomes thinner and thinner, which enhances the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, but also in compromised skin barriers, there is also compromised DEJ. So this peptide helps to improve the health of that DEJ overall. So it's great for people who have aging skin concerns, as well as people who have scarring or acne prone skin or compromised skin barriers, right? So it helps a wide range of different skin concerns. So that's why I had chosen it. It's actually a wonderful, wonderful peptide. I'm really excited about it. I just think it's such a cool product. And then I feel like I already talked about, yeah, I did. Like, how long is this video gonna be? So yeah, that's the face cream afterwards. So the one thing about the face cream as well that I wanted to point out is I also decided to incorporate an ingredient in there well, it's a series of ingredients, but it's called one thing in particular that is almost like a silicone mimicker, but it's not silicone. So silicone has been known to clog pores. It's not like the greatest thing in the world for acne prone skin types, but it can be really good at helping with dispersion of active ingredients in a face cream so that you're getting it everywhere evenly on your skin. So there are great benefits to silicone in a face cream. However, I didn't want to use silicone, so I ended up using this other ingredient instead. It's a wonderful ingredient. The only thing that I will say though is that if you use too much of the skincare product, you're gonna notice that it's gonna peel off, because it's like you can only put so much on your face before it's like, okay, that's too much. And I'm sure you guys have already experienced this with any other face cream, but I do notice that. And the way that you can get around this is by making sure that your skin's damp, so using the essence prior to, and then putting on the face cream, so less is more. This is also the reason why I decreased the how much is in the jar. So there's a 30 ml jar as opposed to a 50 ml jar now, because of that. I don't want you guys having face cream hanging out for months and months and months on end because you're using so little of it, because you don't need to use any more than that. So that's the reason why I shrunk the size of the jar for the face cream. The preservatives that I used in the face cream are really cool too. So the reason why I chose this preservatives that I chose was because they're just better overall. I don't want to get into too much details why I chose them specifically, but I just like things that serve purposes and also aren't like, toxic. So the one thing in particular is gluconolactone, and gluconolactone is what's called a PHA, and a PHA is a large molecule that helps to dissolve dead skin cells on the surface of the skin. So it can be really great for helping to even out skin tone and keep skin like soft and smooth, but it also helps keep the pH at a little bit of a lower pH, which was the intention of the face cream as well. I wanted it around like 4.5, which I know sounds a little low sometimes, but there was a method to the madness. There's a reason why I wanted it at that particular pH. And overall, with the skin system, the cleansing balm, the essence, and then the face cream afterwards, especially when you're using the appropriate amount and not ODing on the face cream, it works synergistically in remarkable ways, really. Like to the point where sometimes I'm like, did I really make this? Did that come from my brain? Huh. Wow, that's fascinating. I'm just very excited about it. I'm excited for the future of where these products are going. So those are the 4 topical facial skincare products that are currently out on the shop. There are going to be some more coming out in the future. Hint, the body oil is coming back soon, and there will also be a really fun body cream coming out soon too that I'm very excited to get on the shop at some point in time. But anyways, I feel like I'm rambling now. I hope that kind of like gave you guys a little bit more of an insight as to why the skincare line is the way that it is. It is very unique in terms of the types of ingredients that I chose. And you're definitely not going to find any other skincare line like it. Anyways, I hope that helps explain everything. I will stop rambling now, and I love you guys all so very much. I actually can't do this without you, and I am very astutely aware of that as well. So I appreciate you guys even that much more just for being here, supporting the journey, and it means the world to me. So thank you.